Hello, everyone. In this lecture, we begin part 4 of the course, which focuses on prejudice, discrimination, and health. Chapter 6 examines how negative social attitudes toward LGBTQ plus people develop and how those attitudes affect individuals and communities. Although public acceptance of LGBTQ plus people has increased in recent decades, prejudice and discrimination continue to shape everyday experiences. The chapter distinguishes between prejudice and discrimination as related but different concepts. Prejudice refers to negative beliefs, attitudes, or feelings directed toward a group, while discrimination occurs when those attitudes are translated into actions that disadvantage or harm members of that group. Discrimination against LGBTQ plus people appears in many areas of social life. Research discussed in the chapter documents anti-LGBTQ plus violence, harassment, and bullying in schools, employment discrimination, and unequal access to housing, healthcare, and other social resources. These forms of discrimination demonstrate how social attitudes become institutional outcomes that affect life opportunities and well being. The chapter draws heavily on social psychology to explain how prejudice develops. One explanation involves social categorization, the process through which people divide others into groups. Individuals often favor members of their own group while viewing outsiders more negatively. These in group and out group dynamics can reinforce stereotypes and contribute to bias against sexual and gender minorities. Cultural norms also play an important role. Many societies promote heteronormativity, the assumption that heterosexuality and binary gender identities are natural and preferred. When these norms are treated as standard or ideal, people who do not conform may be viewed as abnormal or threatening. Prejudice can therefore emerge not only from individual hostility, but also from widely accepted social expectations. The chapter further explains how prejudice operates at multiple levels. Individual prejudice includes personal attitudes or behaviors, while institutional discrimination occurs when policies or organizational practices systematically disadvantage LGBTQ plus individuals. Structural inequality can persist even when explicit hostility decreases, demonstrating that discrimination is not limited to personal bias alone. One major consequence discussed in the chapter is minority stress. Minority stress theory proposes that members of stigmatized groups experience chronic stress resulting from social stigma, expectations of rejection, concealment of identity, and experiences of discrimination. This ongoing stress contributes to disparities in mental and physical health outcomes among LGBTQ plus populations. Importantly, the chapter emphasizes that prejudice and discrimination do not affect all LGBTQ plus individuals in the same way. Experiences vary depending on factors such as race, gender identity, socioeconomic status, and geographic location. Intersectional perspectives help explain how overlapping forms of inequality can intensify vulnerability or shape access to resources. Despite these challenges, the chapter also highlights resilience within LGBTQ plus communities. Advocacy organizations, supportive social networks, and inclusive policies can reduce the harmful effects of discrimination. Education, visibility, and community support play important roles in promoting acceptance and improving health outcomes. The chapter concludes by emphasizing that reducing prejudice requires both individual and structural change. Legal protections, institutional reforms, and cultural shifts all contribute to improving conditions for LGBTQ plus people. Understanding how prejudice operates is therefore a necessary step toward creating more equitable social environments. As we continue into the next chapter, we will build on this discussion by examining how prejudice and discrimination directly influence health and wellness outcomes for LGBTQ plus individuals.